Shabbat Shalom. Rabbi Kendrick Lyman, thank you so much for the long introduction. I always, when people read my bio all the way to the end, I think about my mother. May her memory be blessing, that is looking at me from above, saying, "You never finished your MA." And this is, it's a real Jewish mother. So Shabbat Shalom, and thank you so much for having me and inviting me to join this service, Rabbi Blake and Kendrick Lyman. Rabbi Blake, we worked together during my days at the Consulate, and I'm grateful for your friendship and your leadership, both in the past and today. I have to admit that I've been struggling, and we had this conversation yesterday about, two questions. First, what to say today and this evening, and secondly, in this dramatic, fast-paced news cycle coming out of Israel, and I'm sure that many of you have been and are following the news. Who knows what could have happened by Friday night? So I had to really think about to be the most updated speaker as possible, and I'll open with part of my main responsibilities at the consulate was working with Jewish leaders like Rabbi Blake, and I think that one of the dominant words, most common words, were tzuos. For those of you, the young people here, tzuos are Jewish troubles. But I have to say that, as I said, I've been struggling with the question of what to say and how to say, and I think that we all follow with great concern the recent developments in Israel, reaching a new peak or a new low. I don't know how to define it this weekend with a looming constitutional crisis, possible early next week in Israel, a controversy around government decisions and policies, statements about Milchemet Achim. I had to ask my wife how to translate Milchemet Achim, which is basically a civil war, but it's more a brother will turn against a brother, with the resumption of fighting in Gaza, and the question of the fate of 59 hostages that we all think about every day and all day long after spending 532 days in captivity in Gaza, with the resumption of rocket firing and missile firing from Gaza yesterday and today, and from Yemen. And I think that what we're seeing in Israel is that we live in a world that is deeply fractured. Our public discourse is dominated by polarization, identity politics, tribalism, when we basically define our own identity and values based on our opposition to the other. Everything that I said about Israel is true also for our family, the Jewish family, the broader Jewish family, and especially here in the United States. There are great external challenges to our existence, both in Israel and here and around the world. Now, Israel is strong, but the threats to the safety and the security of Israel are real and imminent. Before the war, we divided the Middle East into two main camps: the camp of terror, camp of war, led by Iran, and the camp of peace led by Israel, the United States, the Abraham Accords countries. But I think that in this seven-front war, Israel has basically weakened Iran and Hezbollah. Israel has managed to, together with the U.S. that is now fighting the Houthis in Yemen, the allies of another proxy of Iran that is shooting at Israel. But the Iranian nuclear threat is real and has to be seriously addressed. And with this weakening of this Shiite camp, there is a new, I don't know if a new word, new is the word, but we should say old or new challenge and potential threat emerging in the Middle East, much more complex, I think, in our way to address this challenge. The possible emergence of another Islamist, this time Sunni Muslim Brotherhood camp after the collapse of the Syrian regime. This camp is led by Turkey, together with the new government in Syria that are basically former terrorists in Al-Qaeda. There are serious threats to Israel. To add to this also, Qatar, which supports the Muslim Brotherhood ideology, both in Turkey, both in Syria, as well as in Gaza, financing these groups. The challenge is real. Here in the United States and around the world, Jewish communities continue to face anti-Semitism. Here in the streets of New York and especially on campus. But with all the threats that I described here, there are also great opportunities, and it's up to us to actually advance these, to take these opportunities and to materialize it. For Israel, the prospects of regional peace led by Saudi Arabia is real, based on the Abraham Accords. It would be a remarkable historic development, if possible, integrating Israel into the region, allowing Israel to be part of a corridor of trade, of business and prosperity that takes us from India through the Gulf, Saudi Arabia, Jordan, Israel, all the way to Europe. These are remarkable developments. Here in the United States, it's a long overdue reaction to, and actually a serious solution to anti-Semitism. But these are the external threats. And as I said, what I find more concerning, especially this weekend, is our internal problems. And Cantor Kleiman, you mentioned the Ohel Moed and the temple and the creation of a community to bring all members of our community together under one tent. And I think that especially this weekend, I find these words, especially today, so encouraging. And we need committed leadership to guide us to unity, solidarity, to be compassionate to one another, to lead us in a constructive and responsible manner, to tell us that we need one tent, that we are in one community, that we need to work hard in order to stay together, to support each other. And it's not only in the hands of our community leaders, because each and every one of us has a responsibility here to take this role, this leadership role within our community. In the State of Israel is our third attempt or third episode of or exercise in self-governance for the Jewish people. We failed the first two, and we must not fail this one. Each and every one of us, also here, must speak up. Each and every one of us must reach out to his or her neighbor, friend, those they argue with, those that they disagree with, to take action within our community, to show that we care about each other, about the future of our people. As difficult as it is right now, when we perceive the actions of our neighbor, of the other, as a threat to our core values, to our security, to our future, we must continue to engage. We must continue to advance and to promote dialogue. We must find the nuances. Usually we dismiss the nuances, especially in our heated discussions, because we focus on what is negative. But the nuances can actually serve as hooks and the basis for collaboration, for agreements in the future. So we must focus on the nuances. Our leaders have a special responsibility. They have the power to build and also the power to demolish everything around us. And it's a great, great responsibility. And we need to urge them, we need to demand that they stand up for this responsibility. Our leaders have a responsibility to build our shared future together, a shared future based on our shared values, of a shared perception of the future, on the basis for what we can actually do together and how we can live together under one tent. And I hope that we will know how to overcome these challenges, especially in Israel, especially during this weekend. We need good people to speak up. We need good people to show up, to work together towards a shared future, to turn these challenges, and there are great, great challenges, especially today in Israel, into an opportunity, into a common ground for a common future, to be united as one people with one shared future. So again, I thank you I'm sorry for maybe it was a little dark or negative, but we are in a critical point in time, and it is up to each and every one of us to make our future better. And I'm grateful again for the invitation to join this community this Shabbat, and thank you again and Shabbat Shalom, of course. Thank you.